Hey guys, welcome to Monday. This is Dr. Corey at the Diet Doc and trying something a little bit different today. Doing this live from San Diego. A little bit cloudy here this morning, but we're just approaching 8:30 a.m. This is your Monday, pardon me, your Monday motivational mastery session. And thanks for your little bit of grace last week. I missed last Monday as I was traveling for work, but I definitely had you guys in my thoughts. I was engaged in some pretty deep conversations with some people. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Jesus. Hey, Kevin. Hope, hi. So I missed last week, like I said, but all the conversations that I was having really got me thinking in real certain directions. And last week I posted a quote that it seemed like really resonated with some people, and I got a lot of comments on it. And it embodied a topic that, like I said, it kept coming up in the dialogue that I was having with friends and colleagues. And the quote was, "I'm too full of life to be half loved." And you guys can go to you can stick around on my personal Facebook page to read it and read all the comments. But Amber, hi, I'm live. And if the connection goes out, that's going to be awesome. And take two. But here's the thing. What I indicated in that quote, in the post attached to that quote's message was that I cry. Yes, tears come out of my eyes. And it's the depth of that emotion that I experience that it feels to me like a bottomless well. Like it's always there, like I could cry at any second. And I think the important thing, though, is that it's not something that I fear. And some people commented and even emailed me and said, "I'm a little worried about you. And if you're crying that much, it seems like you're probably not happy and that something in your life isn't going so well and that it needs your attention." And I want to clarify that the way that I am it's not something that I want to change. It's not something that I wish to be different. It used to be. But even within the last few years, I really questioned it. And I would ask, like, what is wrong with me that I cry so much? And you may laugh at that because Corey seems to have it all together, right? I would think, do I have an overactive amygdala? I would ask things like, do my genetics kind of predispose me to crying more? And maybe they do. I know within my DNA, from my parents, especially my mom, that there's some tendencies to be more anxious. And of course, when we're in threat mode like that, that can lead to more crying. But I want to clarify again, you guys, I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm in awe. I cry when I'm experiencing really intense appreciation for something or someone, when I see something or someone beautiful. When another person, and I experience this a lot within my coaching experiences, when another person begins to realize their personal power and what they are really capable of. I cry when I'm writing emails, so I don't feel that there's something wrong with that. I'm a sensitive person, and I see that as necessary for me to be fully alive. I think what that quote really did was it spoke to how I understand myself differently. And I want to encourage all of you in the same way to really begin being conscious of what your strengths are. And your strengths may be parts of yourself that you've avoided, that you've pushed away, that you've thought were wrong about you for a really long time, and they can be your greatest gifts. The only way that I got to that place, though, was through really deliberate reflection and a focus on personal awareness. I don't think that we can develop into those people that can appreciate and not compromise the greatest parts of ourselves unless we are willing to take that very honest, authentic look into who we are, what resonates with us, what our values are, what principles we want to live by, and ask those questions perpetually. Gary, I must have some hidden strengths because I don't see them. A lot of times we don't, because we haven't taken the time. Not sometimes asking other people can be the window into what our strengths may be. We may not see them because we haven't reflected, but it helps sometimes to ask others who know us well. So I would encourage you to do that, Gary. But no, that has really helped me in the past too. I think it benefits all of us to have one or two really strong relationships in our lives that we feel comfortable, safe enough, and trust enough to ask, what do you see in me? What are those areas of me that you really see as gifts or strengths? And then two, I encourage you guys to ask about your weaknesses as well. One of the greatest things that I do, and again, you have to have someone that you trust and feel safe with to do this with, is to ask, where do you see my deficits are, and where are some areas of improvement? Because I'm constantly, and many of you know this about me, I'm constantly, I want to see inside myself. And it's very easy to get stuck in ruts and have our blinders on. And until someone else points something out to us, we're just oftentimes kind of sucked into our biases. And so it can really help to have someone shine the light on areas that we may not notice. So here's the deal. I feel deeply. I cry a lot. I laugh a lot. My point to that whole quote was that, I wouldn't feel fully alive unless I was feeling intensely. So I feel life's force and energy in a way perhaps that some people don't. And I say that and I'm thinking, well, maybe all of us do. Maybe most of us do, but most of us aren't willing to experience it because it can feel so intense that it takes on this scary feeling. When I feel intense sadness, that's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to really kind of get to know myself better. Because when you feel that deep, you're reminded that you're alive, right? I'll say this, like I said, it's been an evolving process, that level of awareness and that consciousness, and that misunderstood and unaccepted depth that was mine for many, many years. I mean, that led to an eating disorder, and it guided me into some pretty harmful relationships, and it prompted me to make some poor decisions and really take on some goals that weren't aligned with my values, and that were, when I look back, that they were someone else's agenda. But what it has taught me is that, you know, I've learned how to integrate it into everyday Corey, that is me, and that it's one of my best parts. I think it's important to remember that we're all a bunch of different parts. We're all a bunch of different parts stuck together, and there are some parts of ourselves that we would rather not look at. We would rather not be there at all. I'm thinking of like a patchwork quilt, and how you bury one little patch like in the very center of the quilt, hoping that it's not noticed, or you put it on the very edge. We all have parts like that. But to me, this depth of feeling, that part is my heart. Like, I'm not going to remove that. I have to look at that and be with it and allow that energy to spring forth whenever it does. So the conclusion that I've come to is that if there is someone, if there is something that is not going to respect that best part of myself, and here's the most important piece, not see it as beautiful. If there's someone or something that is not going to see that best part of myself as beautiful, then that person or that thing is not for me. It's not for me. You know, when I try to be hard, and when I try to be like, that's the best word I can come up with. A badass. No, there's that part of me. And I know when it's not authentic, when I'm just trying to save face, or, you know, keep it together. It doesn't work very well. It works for me to be genuine, and that part of me is genuine. And I know when I'm with the right person, when they will call me out on that sort of behavior. Ben, who is my partner, he said to me recently, I can't even remember exactly what we were talking about, but he said, that's not you, baby. I love the sensitive Corey. So again, we need people sometimes to remind us of, you know, what our genuine parts are. Hey, Donna. Happy Monday, sister. Awesome to see all of you guys on here. Hi, Brittany, Becky, Robin. So, you know, I cried when Ben said that, because it's an amazing feeling when the deepest part of yourself is recognized by another person. But the only way that the deepest parts of ourselves, those best strengths, can be recognized by another person is if we're willing to look at them ourselves and put them out there into the world. To respect them enough ourselves to put them out there. I want you guys to remember that our motivation, which is that vitality and the energy that we feel to pursue life, right? That's what motivation is. That motivation is built on our values. What's up, Ralph? How are you? And if we want to truly feel engaged in life and in our pursuits, we have to reflect upon the value that we bring to the world. And we can ask ourselves, you know, what value do I bring to the world? And then a second really good question would be, what value do I want to bring to the world? Okay. And then once we've reflected upon our values, then we have an idea of how we are going to approach our lives, the behaviors that we're going to engage in, the ways of being that we realize are going to be really important to maintain that sense of vitality, to be truly engaged in what we're doing with our time, right? So when I say don't compromise the best parts of yourself here are the values that spring forth from that statement. Honesty, okay, authenticity, curiosity. There's humor there. We have to be able to laugh at ourselves. That's one of the best parts of me that I recognize. Then there's kindness, there's love, there's compassion, okay? And I love this word. I love this word, perspective. There's a perspective wisdom. That's one of my highest values that I want to bring to the world, okay? So don't compromise the best parts of yourself. Learn what those are. Ask questions, be curious, be humble, but don't hide them. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Have an awesome Monday and a super fantastic week. Thanks.